Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, just depending where you are in the world. I'm in London doing the nighttime devotion from the devotional Christ Triumphant. The title today, Unsanctified Desires Are Sometimes Granted. The scripture reading is taken from 1 Samuel 8, verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. We have a living head, and every person in office where sacred responsibilities are involved must inquire at every step, is this the way of the Lord? All must look constantly and continuously to Jesus for his guidance and maintain principle at any cost. It's not what finite human beings can do, but what God can do through finite people who are teachable, humble, unselfish, and sanctified. We cannot put the least confidence in human ability unless the divine power cooperates with the human. God has given minds and talents to mortals only in trust, on trial, to test and prove them, to see if they will work in his way and do his will, and put not confidence in themselves alone. When Israel demanded a king to judge us like all the nations, the thing displeased Samuel. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Israel had become tired of pious rulers who kept God's purposes and God's will and God's honour ever before them according to God's instructions. They wanted a reformed religion that they might by external flattering prosperity be esteemed great in the eyes of the surrounding nations. As they at one time hankered after the leeks and onions of Egypt, and murmured because they did not have everything to gratify their appetites, and declared their choice to go back into bondage rather than deny their appetites, so they now insulted God to his face in throwing off his wise rule. They were hankering after riches and splendour like those of other nations around them. Satan's mind was imbuing the hearts of the people that Israel should follow his own satanic counsel. They were bewitched by the devil to carry out their own purposes, even in the face of the solemn protestations from their aged prophet, whom they had every reason to respect and to believe spoke to them the words that God himself had told him to speak. Unsanctified desires are sometimes granted. So even though that title sounds like, wow, so God allows some things, it's actually done as a negative. Sometimes God allows you to fulfill your own desires just so you see the repercussions yourself. And then obviously you have to deal with the consequences. And then with a view that you will then turn back to God. Here is focusing on when the people of Israel wanted to choose their own king, human king, and not have God as their leader. Obviously, God would rule via the prophets, in this case Samuel. But the people who looked at all the nations around who had their leaders and kings, and they're like, we want a leader like everyone else has got one. So God ended up picking out Saul. And Samuel had to go and seek out Saul, anoint him, and make him king. And I would probably assume that later devotions will go through all that story. But it was detrimental. But this led on to eventually King David. And we will get on to that. Of course, as you know, King David was a man after God's own heart. So there was a positive that came out of it. But all the negatives that did come out of it should not have happened had the people kept with God. So this lesson is more about, if you do not continue to seek the counsel of God, and you seek the counsel of men or yourself instead, you will come unstuck, even though you might not know about it until much far later down the road. But you will come unstuck. And when you realize, it's not going to say it's going to be too late, but there will be a lot of things that have happened in that meantime that would need to be sorted out and corrected if possible. Otherwise, you just try and make do with the mess you're in. God has given minds and talents to mortals only in trust on trial to test and prove them, see if they'll work His way and do His will and put not confidence in themselves, in ourselves. God gives us gifts and talents for us to use for His will, not for our own, not to take the adoration and the applause and everything ourselves. If God gives us a gift, we use it for Him, for His work, to preach His gospel. Doesn't matter what it is, hospitality, singing, acting, running, cooking, whatever it is, you're doing it for His glory.